power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. All about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. K-I-N-G, yeah, they gon' envy. I'm still street, you get the beats like an MP. Still saying 10T, low to my Benji. Dirt all on my boots, all on my heels like a NC.
Hey, good evening, man. It's your boy Rajeen, the king of romance, man. We kicking it today. I got my man, my co-host, kicking it with.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It's the man, Real Justice, man. We got something different for y'all, which I think y'all gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, man. We hanging out with Mr. Floyd Wright, man. Y'all give it up for Mr. Floyd Wright. Welcome to the show, Mr. Wright. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, brothers. I'm doing fine. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so glad to be here.
Hey, man, we're glad to have you, man. Definitely.
Yes.
So tell everybody where they can find. Well, tell everybody about your book, man. It's called Poems of Detention, right?
Yes, I have a book. It's called Poems of Detention. And it's written by Floyd Wright. It's available on my website, which is www.authorfloydwright@gmail.com.
Okay.
Order the book there. I'll sign it, mail it to you, and hope you get an opportunity to enjoy it, as well as some of the other people who have already purchased the book and been able to enjoy it. Good book about poems that I wrote when I was in prison. And there's a whole story that leads up to this, and there's more story after this.
Okay.
And that's what I want to share with you tonight.
Yeah, man, we definitely like to get into it, man. Definitely. So, let me, before I do that, you said the site is www.author.
Yes. authorfloydwright@gmail.com.
Floydwright@gmail.com.
Yes.
All right. Let me make sure I get it. I'm gonna run it across. I'm gonna run it across the banner, man. You make sure I got it right.
Okay.
So the people know where to find you.
Yes.
Let's see. It should be going.
Floyd is Floyd.
Oh, misspelled it.
No problem.
I got a bad habit of misspelling. Hold on.
That's okay.
So, Mr. Wright, where you from?
From Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. Okay.
Yes.
You up there where it's cold at?
It's cold right now, but it's just a little windy. But we getting ready for some spring weather. It's going to be good.
Okay. So as we get into it, man, let's talk about So what made you write this book? What's the story behind this book?
Okay. Well, I'm an accountant by trade, and I've worked in governmental offices for over 30 years, and I always maintain a side business, financial services, and I've had that for over 30 years. And during my time of having this business of financial services, there was an opportunity for the government to do an investigation because they said that they had found some irregularities in my business practices. Okay. So, of course, during their investigation, they did uncover some irregularities and some improper practices. And it caused me to have a trial. And I was pled guilty on some charges, and I was sent to prison. I was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And when I went away to prison, they suspended all but 90 days. And after I was going through the intake process, I got accepted into a work release program, which means that I only did about 52 days actually in prison, which is a blessing, praise the Lord and all of that. But certainly that's the story with 5 years of sentencing, being sentenced for just 90 days, and then only doing about 50 days. But in my time there, which was an everyday process, I was exposed to a number of things. Of course, inmates, correctional officers, the process of just being detained and incarcerated. And that's what prompted me to do the poems, because every day I was seeing something. My life was so different because I was never exposed to that type of a lifestyle. So my life was so different. So my opportunity to see things and talk to people and hear things, I said, I've got to write about this because these are things that I've never been exposed to, didn't know how to handle, and I'm sure other people may not ever be able to handle. So my book that I wrote, not only is it poems about the time that I was in prison and my experiences, It also talks about the penal system and the programs that inmates may suffer even in prison or coming out, just being a part of society. My book talks about post-traumatic stress. That's something that's there that lingers. It talks about recidivism. How people go back to prison after coming out because there's nothing there. So not only are you going to get poems in my book, you're also going to get some learning, some history of telling you, oh, this was exposure.
Okay.
So my reasoning for writing the book, of course, was to help people to understand a story or a life of being detained. That was experience in my life, and I hope other people who read my book do not experience it. Some people have experienced it. They have family members or friends who experienced it. Nonetheless, I wanted my book to be a teaching process where if you did experience it, fine. If you have not, this is an opportunity for you to see just what it's like.
Okay.
And interesting enough, a number of people who have read the book have come back to me with different opportunity of having conversations. One lady in particular that I want to talk about, she read my book, she got back to me, and she wrote a scripture for each one of the poems that she found in the Bible that was related to the poem. And repeatedly, I go back to that letter and read it because it took her time. She actually felt that in her heart, that she could feel that there was something else that was a part of this book. So there's been a lot that has come out of the book, and I want to continue to carry this story. And that's why I'm excited to be a part of the interview tonight.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. So do you feel like there was an injustice, or do you feel like justice was served when you dealt with, like when you had to go through what you went through? Do you feel like that's something you had to inquire to grow, or do you feel like it was just basically, do you feel like you grew from that? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask you.
I would say, yes, I did grow from that. Thinking back, there's a lot of opportunity to go back and think about how it went, how it could have went, how different it could have gone. Nonetheless, it is what it is. It happened the way it happened. I survived. I'm here today to speak with you, and I'm feeling that I've overcome that, and I'm hoping that I'm able to be a person to teach others, because there are other people who may experience that kind of a downfall or may need the uplift what you do after you get out of prison.
Okay. Yeah, and we talk about that a lot on this show. We've all dealt with situations that put us in a growing environment. A lot of brothers I deal with, they go through stuff and they come out, a shining diamond on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I got two uncles that did bid, one 17 years, one was I think 28 years. But they made it down the other side and became better, different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a lot of times I like to say sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes good things happen to bad people. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's all about, how you grow from it.
Yes.
I can't say that I've been in that situation, and I can't say I speak for anybody that has been in that situation, but I will say that I admire those who've been in that situation and come out on the other side, with that growth, So
yeah.
definitely, man, I commend you on that. So go ahead. No, I thought Jess was about to say something. So with that being said, do you feel like, do you have other things in store for your journey? Like what do you plan on doing now that you've been through that? And like I said, you've written a book, you've been through an experience, you had an experience. Like, what do you feel like is your next step? And is there a situation to where you want to, build something that's gonna help the community or help, people that you feel like have been injustice or have seen an injustice?
Okay. Well, I've reached out to a number of organizations. I've spoken to youth organizations about my experience.
Okay.
I've also joined a number of mentoring programs where I'm doing mentoring. And here recently, I signed up to be a mock interview person for individuals who may have been previously incarcerated or who may not have skills. And I would be one of the interview people to help them to prepare for interviews for these jobs. A lot of times people will apply for jobs, and once they get to the interview stage, they can't make the interview. because of their exposure. They may not know how to answer the questions. They may have improper posture, what have you. So I've signed up to do that. So I'm doing a number of things that I think can help the community. Like what I want to say is where I get in, where I can fit in.
Gotcha. Okay. And even like so, everything that you're doing, is that in your community? Is it, is it like it's gonna be nationwide? I mean, what are you targeting? Who are you targeting right now? As far
It's
as
mostly in my community, throughout my church, throughout my fraternal or my Masonic organizations. Whatever I hear that raises up my ear and says, "Hey, this is something I can be a part of." I look into it and find out just where it is. And then I have no problems with even finding someone who just may be a recently released individual from prison or family member of someone. I reach out to that person just to see, what is it you need? Where do you need to go? What directions do you need? Are there some programs you need some directions to go to? Because I have the time to do that, and I feel that I may have that compulsion to just reach out to someone and help them to get to that next step.
okay. And I do think we need that in our community. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like, we definitely need to help out anybody who needs that uplift or whatever. Because a lot of times, like I know when both my uncles came out, they had a support system. You know what I'm saying? Definitely had a support system and within our family. But a lot of people don't have that support system within the family. By the time my uncle got out of prison, most of the family, my grandmother had passed away. A lot of people he lost while he was in prison. But us being a support system, in that helped him out and helped him because he became he was a guidance counselor now, and he helps out other brothers that's coming out, other sisters that's coming out. And I think that's important in our community because we don't forget, what I'm saying? Like once you serve your time, whatever it may be, what I'm saying? Your time is served. And a lot of times people turn their back. But we can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I agree. We can't do that. We can't turn our back on people who need it when, need us most or whatever. So, as far as your book, so you say it's a poetry book. How many poems are in the book?
There are 9 poems in the book. And as I said, each one of the poems is about something I experienced while I was there. My cellmate, the CO, the food, things that I was exposed to. And you just take the time because you got plenty of time to do stuff. So I had time to write.
Yes.
And some of the poems started out to be a 1-liner or 2-liner, and then I was able to expound on it. And then once I was able to be released and contact the publisher, we put it together, and it's a nice piece of work. I'm very happy with it. Trying to take it as far as it's been. It's been out for a year, and I'm still getting phone calls and requests for purchases. And I'm looking forward to having more opportunities to talk to people about it.
Okay, definitely. So on this show, if you're a poet, you gotta we like you to come and recite something for us or whatever. So let me ask you this: What do you feel was was that thing that you went through? That one thing that you went through that you definitely wanted to speak about in your art. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure there's something that stood out to you. That's, hey, I got to talk about this. This is something I'm going through. Like, so what poem do you have that you feel like you had to speak on?
Okay, thank you for asking me that. Okay, the fact that just being in prison and not having people to visit or even having any contact with people, that's one of the things that I thought was very hard. And I'm sure it's hard for other people because I was only in there for 50 days. So someone who's in there for years, and I can imagine them not having any hope that there would be any opportunity for any family members to come see them or for anyone to just think about them. So I wrote a poem that's called it's called Father's Day Card. And it talks about the fact that these guys are in prison. I'm talking about a men's prison. These guys are in prison, and Father's Day comes, and there's nobody who thinks about them, nobody who sends them a Father's Day card. And just to expound on this just a little bit more, when I got released, which was in May, and Father's Day came around in June, And I had been spending my last days in a dormitory with 28 guys. So most of those guys I had befriended. Of course, I knew their names. So I went out and I purchased Father's Day cards for all of the guys who I knew were fathers, and I mailed them to the prison. I felt very good about that. My chest was out. I was so happy, and I looked forward to that.
Mm.
Father's Day came. About a week later, all of the cards came back to me. The prison would not accept the card.
Oh,
Can't do that.
And I did not know that. I did not know that. You know, I'm fresh with all of this, so I didn't know that. So you know, I'm thinking I'm doing something good. You know, I purposely purchased a card for each one of the guys, addressed the envelopes, and mailed them out, and thought that these guys are going to be happy they're getting a card. Then those cards came back to me undeliverable.
Wow. And
no explanation, just came back.
So why is that? Like, so I know, like, you know, Justice, he said he knows, but you know, why is that?
Well, Justice might be able to expound on it a little bit more for me. I think I found out later that the prison system, they have their own controls. And me sending Father's Day cards in there to somebody, I could change the scope of a day, a week, or activity. You know, it could be fights, it could be some misunderstanding. Somebody may have mental issues. So I'm changing the scope of things that's going on by sending in Father's Day cards. And the prison sees the mail as it comes in, and they have to control it. I didn't know that. Nobody taught me that, but I thought I was doing something good. So that's what happened. So I don't know if the Justice has a different thought on that, but that's the thought that I see from it.
Not only that, it's a security issue. It's a security risk because that's how drugs are muled by the postage stamps. There was a situation, like I just came home. I've been home about 2 years, but when I was upstate, there was a situation where they was getting LSD on the back of the postage stamps. So how people would move them through the situation, you know what I mean? This situation is long gone, so it ain't snitching. It's over with. But what they would do, they would mail the cards out, and the cards would go to individuals. And when they get them cards, they would now have that LSD. They would have it. Ooh. So that was a security issue to the point where it wasn't a situation where the guards wanted to keep everybody miserable. Because I mean, with all due respect, Mr. Wright, you was only there a couple months. You know what I'm saying? I did years.
Yeah.
And the last thing they wanted to do was keep the men irritated. They wanted to keep them at a calm level because any degree of irritation will cause riots, any type of uprising. So they wanted to keep them calm. They wanted to, that's why they allow soy. You know what I'm saying? But these were things that a lot of people didn't understand. Soy is a very submissive thing, and it causes feminine, it causes estrogen in the body. So that's why when you go to prison, everything is soy. They wanted to kill that dominant gene in us by making soy milk, soy meat, soy burgers to kill that dominant gene. That's why everything was soy. Yeah. So they wanted to keep everything at a very moderate, calm pace. Okay. You know what I mean? But and what you did, very, very commendable. But one thing I can tell you, especially from my point of view, holidays didn't mean nothing. Holidays was just another day. You know, especially to the men who, that's why, you know, I call myself, one of my writing names that I wrote when I wrote my book while I was upstate, I call it Giuffini, because Giuffini is Italian for forgotten prince. Because when you behind those walls, if you don't have somebody keeping your memory alive via pictures, via phone, via anything, you will become forgotten, and you'll become a shell of yourself, and all you'll know is work out, try to better yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was more so a security issue than anything else.
I got you. I appreciate you explaining that. I mean, it bothered me, you know, I mean, what more could I do to it? I couldn't go to the prison system and argue about it. And I did what I thought was right. The cards came back, and all I could do was just discard them. There's nothing I could do. Nothing I could do.
I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. It's kind of, and like I said, I don't know from the prison perspective, but me being in the military, and I've gone to different war zones. I've been in different locations. You know, getting something like a card, a Father's Day card, a Christmas card, anything was still something that brought you home. You get what I'm saying? So it brought you to it. Like I said, like he said, it's commendable that you would do that because, like I said, that was, you know, I never really got a lot of cards from family. You know, when I was in the military, and people couldn't understand why it bothered me so much. But when you're sitting there for roll call and you're waiting for a card, a letter, or anything that never comes, like you said, you feel like Justin was just saying, you feel like the forgotten one. You know, and even as a soldier, like I said, I mean, I would say somebody who's been in the system is just as tough as a soldier. You know, we all soldiers on some level, and that breaks you down when you're forgotten. You get what I'm saying? When you're forgotten, and especially as black men, because you know, black men, our life is a struggle in itself. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's when we can't even go down the street. Like I realized the other day, a cop car got behind me, and we talk about this all the time. It happened to me the other day. Every time a cop car get behind me, I'm nervous. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I play a scenario in my head. Yeah. Did I pay my insurance? Is, you know, all of that. Anything that's outstanding. Yeah. You know, is there anything? Is my brake lights good? You know, and I shouldn't have to. You know, I shouldn't have to go through a scenario. You know, in that, just being a black man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we get harassed walking while black. You know, eating while black. We can't even go into a Starbucks and use the bathroom while being black. You know what I'm saying? So as a black man, our life is already stressed out. Already. You get what I'm saying? So when you do get something like you said, a Father's Day card or something like that, you know, it brings you home. It brings you, okay, somebody care about me, somebody think about me. You know, and for them to take that away, you know, for the system to take that away from you guys, it's huge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I was saying earlier, I didn't want to bring that out, but somebody like someone when I talk to Justice, I say this all the time. I give him his props. You know, that brother to me is, you know what I'm saying, is a diamond. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he came out of the system on the other side, and he's an asset to our society, to our community. You know what I'm saying? And we need brothers like y'all to continue to be assets. Yeah. To continue to, you know, teach our young men what it is to be real men. You know, and I know a lot of these young boys these days, they get tired of hearing it. You know, you on my back, you on my back. Let me be in your back now, so the man will be in your back later. You know what I'm saying? So I do commend you. Definitely on what you've done and what you've been through. So so go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I wanted to read my poem, my Father's Day poem.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it says it's called a Father's Day card. Okay. It says, I thought I would receive a Father's Day card. I worked in that job very hard. I thought I deserved to be recognized, but it seems to be some other disguise. As I like to be called a daddy, but there was no card for me, not even to my family. I wonder if anyone out there loves me. I see the mail, it is received, but nothing in the group came for me. I said, maybe the next day it will be for me. Another day came and nothing you see. I said, someone loves me out there in the world, but who could it be? My little boy or my big girl? I just sit and wait and hope for it to come. Father's Day card from someone.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, that was it.
I never sat in the cell. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in that situation. I'm sure as somebody who has sat in that cell, you know what I'm saying, that's you know what I'm saying, that's definitely, you know, his home or whatever. Yeah. You know, and I feel like definitely. So it's funny to say you write poetry. Like I said, I told you my uncle did a bid for 27, and him and I, you know, I used to write poetry. I mean, I write poetry now, but I started when I was young, and I would exchange poetry. Yeah, you know, and so I guess that was when he could, you know, this is like say I'm originally from New York, and you know he did his bid in New York, so you know one of the first poems he sent me was called Harvest, you know, and I don't remember the words to the poem, but I always remember that the title of that poem because, you know, it was so deep about what he was going through. You get what I'm saying? And so I thought it was important for me to send him poetry while he sat, You know what I'm saying? For 27 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, from 50 days to 27 years, and I mean, of course, there's a difference, but it's not
Big
a difference.
Right, big difference.
When you're in a cage, you're in a cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, it is what it is. So definitely. So as far as your poetry, do you is it something that you did before you had to do this time, or is it something that came to you when you after you realized that you had to do time? I mean, like once sitting in the cell, did that bring that art out of you? Is what I guess what I'm.
I think it brought the art out of me. You know, because while I'm in the cell, you know, I'm reading the Bible, I'm reading newspapers and other journals. You know, other brothers are bringing me other reading material. But you know, you got time, and I got my hands on a writing pad, and I just started writing, especially when I'm seeing things. You know, talking about the food, my cellmate, you know, and things that are just going on. You know, how the correctional officer just pays you no mind. You know, can I make a phone call? Can I go pee? They just pay you no mind? And just like, do I have to go through this?
Yeah.
On my first day, after I had been, you know, going through the process, and they went to put me in the cell with the one guy, and I'm in the cell, and they locked the door, and I asked my cellmate, I said, how long do we be in here? And he said, 23 hours a day. And I'm looking up at the ceiling, and, you know, it's a very small room, and I'm like, how can I stay in here for 23 hours a day?
23
and then
1.
I said, what do you do with the other hour? He said, they may let you take a shower, you may get something to eat, you maybe go out to work out, we just may have to stay in here. So, you know, I said, and then I'm thinking, you know, I'm sentenced to 90 days, so I'm going to be in this room for 90 days.
Here's my question, Mr. Wright. I got a question.
Yes.
Why the hell was you in 23 and 1 immediately?
What's 2301?
23 hours lockdown, 1 hour.
Oh, why was that? Well, remember, I was sentenced to 5 years. They knocked me down 90 days. But I think that was my intake. You know, they had to assess me.
Assessment.
The assessment. And then after I got the assessment, it took maybe about 10 days. And then they moved me to a dorm. And then when I got to the dorm, then I got awarded work release. And for every day I worked, I got a day off my time. So that was how I got to the 50 days. It probably would have been 40 days if I had gotten assessed right away.
So let me ask Justice this first. So Justice, as him being new to the system, right? And you know, I could tell it was hard from with it. How long does that process take to adjust to, or is it something that you ever adjust to?
The reason why I asked, Roz, and first of all, you know, you always give me my flowers because what I've been through, bro. You seen combat, man. You wasn't on the desk. You seen combat, bro, and that's why I love when we talk. I know it comes from genuine places, man. Because you've been in the same war I've been in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so let me just say that now.
Thanks, bro. For real.
Yeah, no doubt. The reason why I asked him because 23 and 1, it's punishment. You know what I mean? 23 and 1 is what you get in deep seg, which is deep segregation, or when you go to the hole, it's 23 and 1. Now, normally your assessment they put you on 24-hour surveillance to make sure you're not a suicide risk, you're not crazy, and they watch you and they just assess you and they come in and ask you a million questions, maybe for like 3 days. That's why I asked them what made him, because I was on 23 and 1 for 30 days, but it was only after I assaulted a guard, and that was my second. That was my first bid. Like my first bid was the worst. My second bid, by the grace of my beautiful wife, man, was a breeze. But the first one, that's why I can relate to the Father's Day, not having the Father's Day cards, because if you've never experienced hearing keys jingling and every day you looking for a letter, you looking for something, and every day that guard walks by your cell and keeps it pushing for months.
Yep.
and you get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you detach yourself from any type of human conversation,
Mm-hmm.
any kind.
Yeah.
It is prison is a breeding ground for greatness or destruction.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally up to you. Eldridge Cleaver, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who was prison. Great men are born in cells. Detroit Red,
Uh-huh. Oh,
Malcolm X. Great
correct.
men are
Right.
born in cells.
Right.
Even biblical, Paul. Paul
Yes.
was in a cell
Yes.
when he wrote Revelations. Great men are
Yes.
born in cells. That's why
Yes.
when you said we was gonna have this brother on,
Mm.
I was intrigued
Mm.
because I wanted to know what literary greatness did he conceive
Mm.
while he
Mm.
was behind them walls.
Mm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to write
Okay.
my first bit. I didn't get a
Okay.
chance to write. I was
Yeah.
busy trying to survive because
Yeah.
they drop you right in the middle of a war zone. Crips,
Mm.
Bloods,
That's
Muslims,
true.
5%.
That's true because you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting.
You
You
don't
don't know
know?
what you're getting.
So
You
let
know,
me
I
ask you
was.
this.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question.
Yeah.
So from day one, you know what I'm saying? And first of all, my little brother Bryce Hill is on, man. And so I'm pretty sure
Okay.
he can speak on this too. But
Okay.
you know, from day one, where do you find yourself, or do you find yourself pulled toward a certain group of people? You know what I'm saying? So, like he just said, you got Muslims, you got your Crips, you got your
Mm.
Bloods, you
Mm.
got whoever.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just like for example, going in the military, you go to boot camp, blah blah blah. You're pulled towards a certain group of type of people. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like so, when you're locked in a cell, all right,
Yeah.
when you're put in that situation, you know what I'm saying? Does who you are
Mm.
guide you towards a group of people you should, I'm not gonna say should be with, but who you
Yeah.
end up with? You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Are you embraced by a certain? You know what I'm saying? Do you get embraced by a certain type of people when you get there? When you're locked, when that cell locks,
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Well, I think in my situation, when that cell door locked and I spent that evening in there and woke up that next morning for breakfast and was having a conversation with my cellmate, um, I got close to him because he shared with me stuff, how it goes, what's going on. So I stayed close to him. When it came time to going out to the day room, I went out with him. There were times that him and I were in our cell, and he would say, "I don't think today's a good day to go out into the day room." And I stayed in there with him because he knows something, he feels something, he could tell something was going on, and we just stayed in the room. And we got somebody to slide the newspaper under the door or whatever, and we just stayed in the room. But I stayed close to him when it was time to go out into the day room, and we did some workouts, some push-ups and sit-up. I would just stay with him. And I'm older than he was, but I was treating him like he was my father because of the fact that I leaned into him, pay attention. When we went to play cards, I only played with him. I stayed close to him because I knew he knew the world. And he wasn't going to really give me anything bad. And he could see shit that was coming, and he could block it. And he was a little aggressive too because he roughed a couple guys up in there. So I stayed close to him, and I really never felt his his um his Christian or Muslim belief, but he had some strong belief.
Mm.
We never talked about it, but I knew he was I am not taking no shit from nobody. So I felt safe with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I would drift off every once in a while and talk to a couple other guys, but I always came right back to him because I knew that was like a safe home. And especially those days when he say, "I don't think today is a good day for us to go out in the day room." He knew something was about to go on because he could sense. But he was my guy. He was
Okay.
my
So
guy.
is he still in there?
No, he's not. I don't know where he is, and I'd like to find him. I tried to write him, and he's coming back, so I don't know where he is. But he was a good source for me. A good,
Okay. So let me ask you this. You talk about things that you've been through in there, or things that didn't sit right with you. What are some other things that didn't sit right with you, like far as guards, as far as how the system works? You know, what are some things that you think needed? So I guess let me rephrase that for you. So what do you feel as a country, right? system, as a legal system, where do you feel like there are changes that need to be made, fair changes that need to be made?
Well, let me tell you something. For the time that I was in there, I just went through what I had to go through. I'm sure if somebody was in there 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, they could see stuff that needs to be changed. I just went through the system. Luckily, I was assigned work study. I had to go to work 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got off at 6 in the morning, and I slept all day. So in the middle of the night, there would be shit going on. There would be drug activity. There would be fights. There would be other kinds of assaults. I was not exposed to that because 1 o'clock in the morning, I was at work, and I worked in the infirmary, so I'm up there in the hospital. 6 o'clock in the morning, I come back. I go through my security check. I get on my bunk, go to sleep till about lunchtime, eat lunch, get up, watch TV, and it was just a whole routine. So I wasn't out there exposed to a lot of stuff, and I just tried to just go through the routine. I mean, correctional guards, they did their job. The other counselors or whoever came in, they did their job. So I can't think of anything that I could say could change or I could see being changed for the little bit of time that I was in there.
Yeah.
Now, I had 2 years, 20 years, 25 years. I probably would have seen a lot of stuff. But a little bit of time, I got smacked. I was in there. I got out, and I'm not looking to go back ever again.
Gotcha. What you think, Jess?
First of all, the first thing that really, really drew me when I first got like I said, my first bid was where I experienced and where I learned and where I grew, because when I first got locked up, I was 19, 18, turning into 19, you know what I mean? And the first thing I noticed was if you Puerto Rican, soon as you come in there, you got you some gloves to play wall ball with. You got you some beans. You got you some chorizos. You got you some arroz. You got you some pantalones. You got everything you need from the door. As soon as you get in there, if you white, you got embraced. We are the only race that when we come in there, you have to prove yourself. Where your color is not enough to link you in. You have to prove yourself. And we, as Black people, are the only race that had to deal with that. If you were Spanish, you could have been a molester. You could have been a rapist. They protected their own. We were the only ones that you were brought in according to what you did. If you were a drug dealer, then you hung with the drug dealers. If you were a baller, you hung with the ballers. If you were just a thug, you hung with the thugs. But we were the only the Black people, and this is where I learned it the craziest. We were the only one that was still segmented according to our situations, according to our status. Whereas Puerto Ricans hung with Puerto Ricans. It didn't matter what they did in the street. From the baller, because the baller of the Puerto Ricans took care of everybody. Chinese, Aryan, Irish. They took care of their own. Where we were the only one. That's where I learned, wow, we're really a broken people. And I didn't understand it. Till you get behind them walls, you see how far our roots have been severed and how much we hate each other.
Yeah,
man,
that's true,
man. Bro. That's deep, bro, for real.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Mr. Wright, how? And I'm not trying to put you out there or anything, but was there a fear of being there? Like, did you have once those doors locked? What was your initial feeling? Was it fear? Was it, a fear of not knowing what happens next? I mean, where were you at in your head that had, that got you through what you was going through?
It was fear. I did not know what to expect. Here's what
it is.
when that guard took me to that cell and unlocked that door, and it was a guy behind the door, and he put me in there. I had to carry my own mattress and all my stuff, and I'm going in there. And I am 68 years old, and I'm carrying this stuff, and I'm in this room, and he closed the door, and I hear clink, 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 and I look around, and then I'm like, and I asked the guy, because he's standing up, because I'm a new visitor, and I said, how long are you going to do we be in here? He just said, 23 hours a day, you know, like that. And I'm like, 20 hours.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, they got to mess your day up, dog. For real.
Yeah, because I'm thinking 23, 23 hours a day. I'm just thinking, and I'm going to be in here for 90 days. 23 hours a day.
That's a long time. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a long time, man. So,
and I mean, and just to add to the story, because I know I need to be telling more of it, but just to add to the story, he was like 40-some years old, and I told him I'm 68 years old, and he made me sleep on the top bunk. And I said, I can't sleep on the bottom bunk. He said, no, you can't sleep on the bottom bunk. He said, you sleep on the top bunk. I had to climb my ass up there every day, every night. If I had to go pee, he was not giving me no break at all.
Hey, if it make you feel any better, man, when I was in Afghanistan, I had to sleep on the top bunk too.
Okay, but you're younger than me. You're younger than me.
Look, when I got to Afghanistan, like it's that same thing.
Yeah.
You do? Like, no, bro, you got to sleep on the top bunk. No, you don't get the bottom bunk. So believe me,
you got to fight for that. You got to
no
fight
break.
for that.
No break at all. And I respected it. I got used to it. I would get on my bunk, and then when breakfast would come, because him and I got close, he would get my tray, and he would hand it to me up on my bed, so I didn't have to get down. That was the best he would do. That was the best he would do for me. You ain't changing beds with me. No, you're not.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So definitely remember now, I was only in there for there with him for like 10 days. And then I got moved to a dorm. And that's when they realized that I could get the work release, and I got the job, and things were okay because I had a little more freedom, 23 guys in a dorm, shower, TV, workout room, telephone, TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was okay. However, like I told you, I go to bed, go to work at 1 o'clock in the morning, come back at 6 o'clock. And my Bible study guy, him and I would be talking. And I came back from work one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I went over to talk to the Bible study guy. He was sleeping. I woke him up. His face was all bruised. He had black eyes. So what happened? He said, I got jumped last night. I'm like, damn, the Bible study guy got jumped. You just don't think that. But it was a whole life.
Oh, the Lord,
it was a whole life. It was a whole life.
Man.
He got jumped in the middle of the night.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I don't know about Justin, but I'm gonna say this. You seem like the type of guy who, what I'm saying, you might be a social butterfly, or you might know how to talk to people, whatever. So my question is this: were you able to talk your way out of stuff when you was in prison?
Oh yeah. Because I had a couple opportunities. Okay. I've already told you how old I am.
Yeah.
So at one point, I had to, clean toilets and stuff like that. So the little guy who I used to work with, he told me that I didn't know how to clean toilets. And I said, motherfucker, you're an inmate just like I am. We both in here cleaning toilets. And if you can clean a toilet better than I can, you should do that. So he gave me a little verbal threat. A verbal threat. And I was a little uncomfortable with that verbal threat. I was uncomfortable with the verbal threat. So when I got back to the dorm, I knew there were little huddles of some of the other guys, and I don't want to say this to hurt anybody's feelings, but semi-Muslim guys, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And I went over and told them how he talked to me. Took care of him.
So you snitched on him.
I snitched on him.
Yeah, you don't mess around. It's good. It's probably good that you out.
Yeah. I told him exactly how he talked to me.
Hey, real talk. I ain't never been in, but I know the rules. I know the rules of the street.
Well, I had to fight with the best weapon I had, and I went over and told those guys how he talked to me. I was verbally abused a couple times, but when you threatened me, because he said something like, "Wait till tomorrow," and I'm like, "No, I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. I'm gonna take care of this today."
Yep. Hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you like this though, bro. Hey, if you can't beat him, tell him.
Tell him. That's right. And to know that I knew that they got to him, they wouldn't work out with him, they wouldn't pick cards with him, they wouldn't eat with him. I knew. Okay. Yeah. They took care of me.
He said, we're going to handle this tonight.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm not.
So my question is, how long you had to stay woke? How long?
No. I went on about my business as far as getting my rest or what have you, because I felt peaceful. Yeah, I said, if you're going to do something, come on with it now. But I knew that I went on and delivered it, and the guys didn't say we're going to take care of it, but I knew they took care of it.
They wasn't going to say that.
Yeah.
You told the Muslims, it's pretty much a,
Yeah.
And he probably saw you tell on him. He probably was like, not the brothers, not the Akis.
Yeah, the Hakins. Yep. Yep. I'm sorry.
You know what, Mr. Wright? I appreciate your honesty, man.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
If nothing else, man, I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you. Yeah.
He said we're gonna handle this tonight.
That's right. You said you
I know what you're talking about, though. Ain't nothing worse than that. It's called a Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And it's like a big barn with a bunch of beds. It's wide open. Ain't no gates.
Right.
So you could be asleep and wake up with a mop ringer. Getting busted inside your head with the mop ringer.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you wake up in the middle of the night. You got somebody who's throwing a tantrum in the dorm because somebody stole his toothpaste, and he's waking everybody up. He's waking everybody up, and you don't know if the toothpaste is in your bin. You don't know what's happening.
So he said you don't know if toothpaste is in your bed.
Yeah, because somebody might have stolen his toothpaste
put it in your
bin, and you don't know that because you get messed up. People do stuff. I'm gonna get him messed up.
Man, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
so needless to say, Mr. Wright, you ain't going back no time soon.
No.
So
Not looking forward to that. Not looking for that. Not looking for that. No.
Man.
Yes. So I want to talk about another poem.
Go for it.
So the inmates are not, you have conversation, you can't get away from everybody. So
Did
the inmate
about that one?
Not exactly, but the inmate says, he pulls me off to the side. He said, I can give you a tattoo. I said, how are you going to give me a tattoo? I'm looking around the walls. There's nothing here. So he explains to me how he can give me a tattoo. And I'm like, nah, I'm not even thinking that. But anyway, he wanted to give me a tattoo. So I have a poem it's called Inmate Said He Would Tattoo Me.
What?
Inmate said he would tattoo me.
Okay.
Inmate said he would tattoo me. He said it would look nice, you see. He said I could put something on your mama's name. I could put some other thing just the same. He said he did not go to school. He said he's not going to use a special tool. He said he could get a bird or a plane, or he could get me a choo-choo train. He said he can get a pretty girl or something from around the world. He said I would feel no pain and he wouldn't leave a blood stain. Inmate said he would tattoo me. I may get 2, I may get 3. I may get 1 from someone I love or someone from resting up above. He said he can do one on my face, on my arm, my leg, or any place. He said he could do a Bible verse. He said he could do words that make me curse. He went on to say that he's the best. He's done his work from east to west. He said he could do a speeding car or even do a shooting star. Inmate said he'll tattoo me. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
So my question is this. Why you should have got a tattoo on your neck? You'd have been thugged out. Man.
Told me how he could get the ink pen and some center block cement, and I'm like, no, you're not putting that on me.
So since he didn't get a tattoo in prison,
yeah.
And what do you feel like you walked away from prison with? Because obviously, it's very apparent that prison wasn't for you. It was for a white collar crime that you had to do a little time for or whatever. And so, what do you feel as you know, as an inmate, you walked away with from this experience?
I am not able to tolerate much stuff.
Not
I
really?
can't tolerate. I cannot tolerate much stuff.
Okay.
You know, I mean, even on a normal level, just talking to friends, something not right, I'm gonna deal with it right away. I'm not gonna let it ride and nod. Okay, I just can't tolerate stuff. I have to hit it and keep
Oh,
on
so you
going.
thugged out now. You thugged out.
Yeah, I can't deal with it.
This is right thugged out now. Say
Yeah,
something.
that's right. I can't deal with it. I don't like the okey doke stuff anymore. Don't nod your head, everything. No. Wait a minute. You said that, and I want to go straight to that and deal with it.
Okay.
But I gain. Yeah.
You should have got a teardrop. You should have got one teardrop.
That's true.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, definitely, man. I appreciate, you know, I appreciate you telling us your story, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's always an amazing journey when somebody goes through something, and you know, it's definitely something we like to hear. But there's a positive side of it. You know, we can laugh and joke, but there's a positive side of it. And you come out, and it seems like you're gonna do that work to pretty much help out, you know, people who need that help on the outside. There's a lot of people I love. There's a lot of people I love that's been in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I care about that's been in. And I don't judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got a little brother that's on right now. You know, a couple uncles, man. It's just like family members. You know, some of my best friends. You know, even my boy Justice. Like that's my boy now. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And when you've been through the wash and you come out on the other side clean, you know what I'm saying? You deserve to move forward in life and grow. You know, now if you get out and do the same thing, and that's something that we have to also speak on. If you're not rehabilitated and you need that, you know, like if the streets own you still, after you've been through that, you haven't learned from your mistake. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, and sometimes you know, us being black men, we feel like the world is against us. You know, so you have to choose a road. You have to choose a path. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you don't choose that right path, like for example, Justice could have chose to go that way, you know, and he could have chose to continue to doing what he's doing, you know. And Justice has a beautiful wife, a beautiful family now, has a great life. He's doing great things, you know. He wouldn't have had the privilege of experiencing that if he kept on that other path.
It's true.
But you have to go down that other path sometimes to know which one is right and which one is wrong. Right. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying there's a wrong path, but I'm saying that there's a path that teaches you what the right path is. You get what I'm saying? So I definitely commend you, brothers, on what you've gone through and continue to we have to teach. You know what I'm saying? And when we got brothers that's been through it, we got to continue to uplift them to a level to where they can continue to grow and teach our younger generation, because there's a lot of brothers out here that don't know the system.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I tell this real quick. I tell this story all the time, to where I've been to a war zone and I met young kids that come in 18, 19 years old, and they thugged out. You know, everybody thugged out until some thug shit happened. Right. And I've seen like, you don't know what being a thug is until somebody walk in with a bomb on their chest. When you're willing to kill yourself to prove something to your following, that's when you're a thug. You're a real thug when you blow yourself up. To prove a point. You're a real thug. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen so-called real thugs jump up underneath beds and go hiding and crying when incoming come in, when bombs come in. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you hear a rocket come in and hit, you know what I'm saying, that show you where your heart is at, what kind of heart you got. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So all this wannabe thug, all this, I listen to thug music, so I'm a thug, or I see, you know what I'm saying, I'm wearing, you know, chains and blah, 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 so I'm a thug, or I hold a pistol in my hand, I'm a thug. Right. And it's like a real thug, you won't even know they got a pistol on it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be taking pictures with pistols or taking pictures with stacks of money, because real thugs, you know what I'm saying, that's not what they're about. You get what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this. You know, we had to teach our younger generation you know what I'm saying, what's right and what path to take, because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not learning, you know, they only gonna go what they think is they're supposed to be doing. You know, and like you said, and like Justin and I talk about all the time, our younger generation, our young men, our young women, you know, that's the future. That's the future of people of color. And if we don't teach them now and we keep losing them, who's gonna be here later on?
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? So definitely keep doing what you're doing, Mr. Wright, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Just like continue to uplift. So let me ask you this. If you had to speak to our young men, just say our young men. When I say young men, I would say 25 and younger.
Okay.
If you had to speak to a young man right now about your experience and what they could take around, what they could learn from your experience, what would you tell them? What would you tell them right now to keep them from going to where you've been and going through what you went through?
I would tell them definitely to stay focused. Whatever course that you're trying to take, stay on that course. Get as much direction that you possibly can to follow that course, whether it be reaching out to a mentor or a family member, or maybe get some education. Just stay on that course and follow it as far as you can, and also have those checkpoints. Am I there? Am I going the right direction? What do I need to help me to get further down the road? Because a lot of people, they don't have that guidance. You know, they don't have that guidance, and if you don't have it, you're not going anywhere.
That's true. And what you're saying is great, and it's awesome. And also to add to that is that we have to teach our younger generation, and even not even younger generation. I think we have to teach each other as Black men to be self-motivated. You know, because a lot of times when you don't have that motivational support, you know what I'm saying, we have to teach each other how to grow in a sense of, I don't have anybody, but I want something. You know what I'm saying? I need, you know, sometimes you need that direction, but at the same time, sometimes you have to push yourself. You get what I'm saying? And when you're able to push yourself to grow, you're able to accomplish things that you didn't think you would accomplish. You get what I'm saying? You know, it's like, for example, I come from a father that, you know, came from nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I watched him, and I watched everything he did, and I grew as a person by watching him. A lot of people don't have that support system, but at the same time, you know, my thing was I wanted to be able to prove to myself that I could do whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. You know, no matter what I've been through, I could have did a 20-year bid, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still that type of person. I still got that mindset that I'm gonna make stuff happen, even though, you know, the odds are stacked against me. And that's why, like I said, that's why I give Justin so much props, because like I said, the odds are stacked against him from day one. You know, and when you accomplish things that people like him have accomplished, you continue to grow, and it's such a commendable feat, so to say. So man, definitely continue to keep doing what you're doing.
Let me say this, Rob. Let me say this, man. And also, one thing I learned, and I just learned this from our the big homie Barbie. She put me on a younger fella. You know what I mean? She just wanted me to talk to him. One thing I understand about our generation, right now, they don't want to hear talk. So if anybody that is within the sound of this voice, Ra's voice, my voice, Mr. Wright's voice, only advice I have for you, man, be the best possible example at all times, because you never know who's watching you. People, watch what you say on social media. Watch how you live, because you never know who's watching you. They may not post, they may not comment, but they're watching you. And I just leave one thing, man, be ready. Be ready. Because when you're called upon to be that example, be that example. Period. Anybody can sit on these cameras and talk. These people, these youngins, man, they need action. They need action. Because that's how they listen, man, look what's going on. Our boys are turning to girls, our girls are turning into boys. They cutting our future off at the root. They cutting them off at the root. And why is this? Because there's nobody to lead them. So if y'all can hear me, Ross, Mr. Wright, man, when you're called upon, action. No
Mhm.
more talking. Action.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Mr. Wright, man, hey,
Yeah.
we coming up on this hour, man.
Okay.
One more time, man. Promote yourself. Let people know where they can find. Where they
Certainly.
can find. Where they can find your book. Let
Yes.
them know. You know what I'm saying. What else you got coming in store?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. My book is called Poems of Detention. And these are poems that I wrote when I was being detained. And it's some very enlightening information in there about prison system, correctional officers, and just being able to survive. And not only is this going to talk about the prison system, it's going to help someone talk about being detained. These are poems that I wrote when I was laying across my bed. You know, you got a poem in here called Drop, Squat, and Cough. If you've never heard about it, you don't want to know about it, but certainly there's a poem in there that can kind of talk about it. So I'm looking forward to anyone who wants to purchase my book. My website is www.authorfloydwright@gmail.com. And look forward to hearing from you. You can reach out to me. My phone number is there, and I'll be glad to respond. I am finishing up a second book, and the book is called The Book of Owls. I've taken the words from the dictionary, 26 letters of dictionary, and words that end in the letter AL, like social, criminal, political, legal, fraternal. I've taken all those words. I have a short story on each one of those words, talking about something that happens in somebody's life on one of those things.
okay.
And some of us,
No, I said okay.
Yeah, some of us may have experienced maybe one of the ALs, legal. Somebody might have medical, legal, criminal, social, marital, and you never know when these 4 or 5 things can touch you. And some of the stories are pretty interesting because some of these are life stories that people have actually been exposed to. And it's a short story about each person, but it's each letter of the alphabet going away from A to Z.
Nice, man.
Hopefully that book should be out this summer. And it may be a workbook because I would ask people to write in the book the AL that they have experienced. What have you experienced? What have you got? What did you learn from this? And the reason why I'm writing this book is because I had my criminal situation, and a friend of mine had a medical situation, and we were at the same time. He was in a hospital facing death, and I was going to prison. So we talked about that. I said, man, you had this, and I had this. So then we went through, and we found a number of things that were related. So hopefully, when the book comes out, people will be able to equate that and deal with their own lives.
Man. Well, look, man, we appreciate you being on, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I commend you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
And hey, brother, we definitely look forward to having you on again.
Okay.
So listen,
we
gonna hear you out, man. It's been your boy Rajeen, the king of romance, with my co-host.
It's your man, The Real Justice, man. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself.
Man, I hope y'all enjoyed the show, man.
Yes.
Like I said, y'all give it up for Mr. Floyd Wright. And like I said, man, hey, next weekend we're gonna have some other great offers for y'all. Y'all stay tuned on what we're doing. Thank y'all for watching. We out of here, man, for real.
Thank you.
It's all about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. All about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. K-I-N-G, yeah, they gon' envy. I'm still street, you get the beats like an MP. Still saying 10T, low to my Benji. Dirt all on my boots or on my heels like a NC. I was